Story 1. Am I the a-hole refusing to pay for my younger sister's wedding despite my parents' insistence? Hi everyone. To start this off, I just came here to tell you about what happened. This is a bit long, but I need to get this off my chest. I'm a 32-year-old man, and I have a younger sister, who we will call Emily, who is 24. My parents have always spoiled her, and it's only gotten worse as we've gotten older. I don't mind helping family, but this situation has gone too far. Here's the story. I started working right out of college, saved diligently, and now I own a small but successful business. My parents, on the other hand, haven't been great with money. They've always lived beyond their means, and as a result, they never really had savings to fall back on. Emily, being the youngest, was pampered throughout her childhood and teenage years. She got everything she wanted: a new car at 16, fully funded college tuition, which she dropped out of, and frequent shopping sprees. I, on the other hand, worked part-time jobs and took out student loans to get through school. Fast forward to now. Emily is getting married to her boyfriend of 2 years. They announced the engagement a few months ago, and my parents were over the moon. They immediately started planning a lavish wedding, far beyond what they can afford. Naturally, they turned to me for financial support. At first, it was small things. Can you help with the engagement party? And could you chip in for the dress? I agreed, thinking it wouldn't be much. But then they started asking for more. We need help with the venue deposit. And the catering is going to cost a lot. Can you cover it? I sat down with them and explained that while I'm doing well financially, I'm not made of money, and I have my own expenses and future to think about. They brushed it off, saying it's my duty to help family, especially my sister. They even suggested I take out a loan if necessary. The last straw was when they asked me to pay for the honeymoon. I put my foot down and told them I'm done funding the wedding. My parents were furious. They accused me of being selfish and ungrateful, saying that family should come first. Emily, of course, sided with them and is now barely speaking to me. She's posting passive-aggressive stuff on social media about selfish people and not being able to rely on family. My parents are now telling everyone in our extended family that I'm refusing to help my sister in her time of need, and I'm getting a lot of backlash. Some relatives have called to scold me, while others are staying out of it. I'm starting to feel guilty, but at the same time, I think it's unfair to expect me to bankroll such an extravagant event. So, am I the asshole for this? Story 2. I, 20 years old female, am in a tough situation, and I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, so I need some outside perspectives. I've been with my fiancé, Charles, 35 years old male, for about 2 years, and everything seemed fine until recently. A few weeks ago, my 14-year-old sister, Amy, came to stay with us for just a few days while our parents were out of town. During her stay, I started noticing some really unsettling things. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but Charles started making comments that made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. He would call her so hot, and would say things like, "You're going to turn heads when you're older," and "You've got such a body on you already." The worst part was when he said, "I'd be jealous if I were your boyfriend. Every guy will be looking at you soon." I tried to ignore it at first, but it kept happening, and I began to feel sick to my stomach. Then, one evening, I overheard him telling a friend on the phone, "Amy's got that look now. It's like she's starting to bloom." It was honestly one of the creepiest things I've ever heard. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I just knew I couldn't stay in that relationship anymore. I confronted him about his behavior, and he immediately got defensive. He denied it and said I was being paranoid, and that I should trust him. He insisted that he was just being nice, and that I was overreacting. I didn't care. I packed my things, broke off the engagement, and moved back in with my parents. Now, my friends and some family members are telling me I overreacted. They say I should have talked it out with him first, but I don't see how that would have changed anything. So, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiancé because of his creepy comments toward my little sister? Story 3. Am I the a-hole for visiting my ex in jail against the wishes of my girlfriend? I live with my girlfriend Molly, and have done for the past 2 years. I love her, and since we're both financially stable, we're thinking of starting a family together. My ex-girlfriend Amy is in jail. She worked in finance, pretty high up, already earning great money, but got involved in an illegal scheme to make easy money. Everyone involved has been jailed. I heard about this and thought it was a shame, but we haven't been together for 4 years, so I had no reason to reach out to her. That was until I received a letter from her in the post, where she told me that all her family and friends had cut her off, and asking if I could be in contact with her purely as a friend, so she has someone she could talk to on the outside. I agreed and visited her today. Amy's family are upper-class types who are obsessed with their reputation, and so cut their criminal daughter off. Most of her friends are from the same professional circles as her, so they don't want to know her either. I'm her only friend outside the prison. She's a complete wreck of a person. When she saw me, she broke down in tears as I'm the first person who's ever visited her. Amy doesn't belong in there at all. She's going out of her mind with boredom, sitting in her cell. While she has been put on some courses, they are far below her capability. She has a degree in mathematics and numerous financial certifications, and they're only offering her very basic skills courses. She has to wear clothes that are usually over/undersized and have been worn by many others before. From what she said, I think she's being bullied in there too. She said a lot of the other women don't like her, because apparently she comes across as spoiled and snobby. After the visit, she hugged me and thanked me for coming, and I said I'd try to come once a month. Molly was okay with me seeing Amy beforehand, but when I got home she said she doesn't feel comfortable. She said if it was anyone else it would be okay, but the fact I'm going out of my way for my ex frightens her. She asked me if I have feelings for Amy, which I don't, but that didn't satisfy her, and she said she wouldn't feel happy unless I stopped seeing Amy, which I said I wouldn't. I'm Amy's only friend. Why should I let her sit in that shithole all alone when I can be there just as a friend to help her through it? Update. So Molly and I sat down together and discussed everything. I understood why she was worried, and she understood why I didn't think it was right to leave Amy in that place alone. In the end, I took the advice of one of the comments on the original post. I asked Molly if she'd come with me when visiting Amy. She was very apprehensive but agreed. Things were obviously awkward at the beginning, but they started to chat and got along. Amy was just grateful to have someone come along, and Molly wasn't going to be rude, so they hit it off well. Amy opened up about what's happening with her. The place is incredibly run down. She's in a cell on the top floor, and the window is cracked so it's absolutely freezing at night, and the prison only supply a fairly thin blanket. It's overcrowded, and they're putting 2 people in cells built for 1. Amy has to share a tiny cell with a woman who doesn't like her and who controls the cell, hogging the TV and deciding when they turn the lights out and go to sleep. The food and clothes are awful, and in order to occupy herself, Amy must go to basic literacy and numeracy courses, which she's completely overqualified for. The alternative to that is sitting in her cell going mad with boredom. Amy was crying her eyes out, but tried to hide it, because if the others see her they'll think she's weak. She's not had any problems with anyone, but apparently some of the others make fun of her posh accent. Her parents, friends, or family haven't made any effort to contact her. Molly was an absolute star. She hugged Amy while she cried and reassured her. I wasn't expecting this at all, but was so proud. She said she'll be happy to be her friend if she needs one. They shared a few jokes too and chatted about fashion and things like that. Amy even promised she'd give her some of her designer stuff as a thank you when she gets out. In the end, Molly hugged Amy goodbye and promised we'd visit again. Later, Molly admitted that she was still a bit unsure over the fact that this was my ex, but she admitted that she could see how much Amy needs friends and people to support her. She thinks it's the right thing to do to see her as much as we can. Amy will be released in mid-2023, so we said we'd see her once every couple of months if we can. Thanks for the advice on the original post. Very much appreciated. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for calling out my uncle in front of everyone after making weird comments on my girlfriend's looks and being too touchy? So basically, at a family barbecue last weekend, my uncle, mid-50s, kept making creepy comments about my girlfriend Kate, 21 female, who I invited. At first, it was backhanded compliments like, "Wow, you're way too pretty for him." But then it got worse. "I would have snatched you up back in the day, and must be a struggle to compromise for me?" He even joked about how my girlfriend must get hit on all the time and how I should keep an eye on her. On top of that, he was being way too touchy, putting his hand on her lower back, touching her arm when he laughed, and even leaning in way too close while talking to her. My girlfriend was clearly uncomfortable, but tried to brush it off. She told me privately that it made her uncomfortable. I confronted him in front of everyone, straight up calling him a creep and telling him to knock it off in a loud way. He got defensive, saying he was just joking, and my mom told me I was out of line for embarrassing him like that. Some family members agreed with me, but others think I overreacted and should have handled it privately since everyone knows him as a joker and just loves making conversation, which he is good at. Some male cousins of mine are insinuating I was jealous and exaggerating stuff because my uncle talked to their partners too, and they didn't have any complaints like Kate. My uncle said he was just making jokes and he didn't mean any of them, and he is really disappointed that I looked at him as that kind of guy. Am I the a-hole for calling him out publicly instead of pulling him aside? Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please like, comment, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos.